Hi, everyone, and welcome to Studio Jake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is my vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture, from anime to television to comic books to novels, and, of course, movies. Now, one of the big topics within pop culture, within nerddom, is Marvel, right? The MCU Phase 4 apparently has been a complete disaster. Phase 5, it seems like it has a very tepid begin Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which I have not seen, so I can't say this without a preference, or excuse me, a preface. But it seems like it's not doing too well at the box office. They're saying it's on track to break even against its budget, and Marvel doesn't know what to do. And this is incredibly clear. So they got us all hyped up, they being Disney Marvel, got us all hyped up that Charlie Cox was going to be reprising his role of Daredevil. And what's the first thing they do? They shove him into She-Hulk attorney at law, make him a big joke. Although, to be fair, they did show that Matt Murdock is a better lawyer than She-Hulk is in the show, which makes perfect sense because she's clearly incompetent. The law firm she works for is incompetent. No sane lawyer would hire them as their attorneys. I mean, it's just nuts. Anyway, so they decided to do a little tease to because people realize I think they realized at Marvel, the powers that be realized that She-Hulk kind of took the wind out of people's sails as far as being excited about Born Again. For one thing, the title takes from a very popular comic book written by the great Frank Miller, who of course did Batman Year One. He's done a ton of other classic comic book stories. Holy Terror is another good one that he published independently. And it doesn't make sense that if you're not going to follow Born Again, you're going to name a show after it. Why not call it Daredevil Fearless or Daredevil Man Without Fear? They don't seem to mind long titles at Disney anymore. So why not do that? Well, they released some news that you can clearly think was meant to bring that win back in the sales. So Charlie Cox's appearance as Daredevil in She-Hulk totally destroyed the anticipation. At least it did for me. I'm a big Daredevil fan. I think he's one of my favorite Marvel characters. But to see how he was mistreated in She-Hulk Attorney at Law, yeah, that's not good. So they're throwing out this chump bait for the fans, for fans like you and me, or at least I'm assuming you're a fan of Daredevil if you visited here. I love the Netflix show. The Ben Affleck movies are terrible. I hope they all the copies get burned up. It's good just to memory hole that. So from Spencer Bakuli, dude, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If not, please, if you watch this, let me know in the comments. From Bounding into Comics, which they're a great resource for nerds. They don't do so. They're wrong about some of their Star Wars continuity stuff, but they have been on point in going after the woke takeover of Hollywood, where all these SJWs are trying to push, communist ideology within the shows and make them terrible, right? Which is what they did with She-Hulk Attorney at Law. And boundingintocomics.com is at the forefront of this battle. Definitely check them out. Yes, I disagree with some of their Star Wars takes, but who cares? We can disagree and all still be friends. It doesn't matter. But anyway, according to them, Marvel Studios to bring back Jon Bernthal as the Punisher in Daredevil Born Again. So there's that upswing. You're excited because he was a really excellent Punisher. His show was fantastic. I know some people had issues with it because of the things that happened in the final episode. I didn't. I thought it, or I should say, the final episode of season 1. I still thought it was good. I thought it was brutal. It was dark. It was exactly what the Punisher should be. And then and then I was when I heard this news, I got really excited. Oh my gosh, the Punisher is going to join the MCU. Well, then they dropped this bombshell. Seemingly drops both Eldon Henson and Deborah Ann Wool from franchise. So Eldon Henson played Foggy Nelson, who is Matt Murdock, who is Daredevil. That's his law firm partner. Deborah Ann Wool, she plays. She plays. Oh my gosh, I'm going to. Forget it. Karen Page is her name. She's their like office secretary, and then in the show, in the Daredevil show, she involved in becoming a reporter. But It says in Bounding into Comics, confirmation of the many Saints of Newark star's upcoming return as the ebony-clad anti-hero was first provided by the Hollywood Reporter on March 7th, themselves having allegedly received word of Marvel's casting decision via their own insider sources with Disney. This goes to a good point. So I talk about rumors, Bounding into Comics does, Clownfish TV does, but what's funny is the shill media, so like Grace Randolph, the Hollywood Reporter, Geek and Sundry, Nerdist, that everything is good no matter how bad it is. Those kind of outlets, they when we report on rumors, we're rumor mongering. We're just trying to divide the fandom. When they report on rumors, it's our inside sources say. So, whatever. Anyway, continue on Bounding into Comics. Unfortunately, outside of the base fact that Bernthal's incarnation of Frank Castle would once again find himself crossing path with Charlie Cox, the man without fear, THR was unable to provide any further details regarding the character's role in the Disney Plus series story. And honestly, this, to the flip side of this, when I first heard the Punisher and Jon Bernthal was going to return as the Punisher, I did get excited. I actually like the Punisher films. I think they're good, for what they are. To me, the Punisher should be treated as a kind of a B movie character with an A-list budget, kind of what Tarantino does, right? He makes B movies, but he's got A-list budgets, and so he's able to put more into them, right? That's why, Jackie Brown is my favorite of his. But anyway, they should treat the Punisher like this. But I just don't trust Disney Plus with the Punisher. I've seen how they've taken great characters like She-Hulk and Wong and even pre-Hulk, Thor. They have done a terrible job since Avengers Endgame. It hasn't been pleasant. And just the fact that, recently Marvel changed, because before the Punisher had the traditional skull. Well, Marvel can't copyright that skull, so they decided to design him one that looked more like a goat head skull, which it looks terrible, by the way. But instead of just saying, hey, the reason we're doing this is because we want people to identify the Punisher with something more unique, I actually think fans would have been okay with that. They still would have complained about it, but it wouldn't have been as bad. But no, they say, oh, it's because certain people use the skull, not like the skull has been used as a symbol for like the last billion years or whatever, but we're going to virtue signal and we're going to take off the human skull. So some bad people, they're the ones who are using it. So we're going to change it to an ugly goat head skull. It doesn't make any sense. And so initially excited and then I remember this is Disney Plus. They're not going to do a Punisher show and make it justice. It's going to be Spider-Man, the animated series Punisher, which they got his attitude correct in that show. But since it's a kid's show, they couldn't show him actually, taking out and, terminating villains, as it were. So what they did was they made it where he had like elaborate traps that he would try to catch the villains. I have a film, kind of like Saw, like he's kind of like an anti-hero Saw. We might see the Punisher be something like that. But to the second point, Bounding into Comics continues. According to the reporting, both Deborah Ann Wool and Eldon Henson, who respectively played Karen Page and Foggy Nelson across Netflix's Marvel outings, are not on the roll call for this Marvel series. It just doesn't make any sense to me that they would go through all the trouble of trying to win fans back by casting Charlie Cox as Daredevil. We were all wanted that. We all wanted to see that. And then they're going to remove two of the key characters. Now, I understand many of the actors and actresses who are in the Netflix shows, they've gone on to other things because they can't wait forever for that Marvel phone call. But this would have been a good opportunity to show the fans, say, here, we're on your side. But Marvel's not on our side. Disney is not on our side. The powers that are currently there, they've just become nothing more than corporate overlords who are just slapping titles on things stolen from Marvel, Star Wars, the 20th Century brand, Pixar even, and they're just slapping it on there just to make money. And we're seeing this with Daredevil. So does the announcement that Bernthal will return as the Punisher excite me? Not at all. I don't think it's going to be good. I just, before I was excited about it, but then I heard the writers that they're hiring are all basically failures. No one on this team has written a successful show. And also, I'm just so tired of the nostalgia bait. So with Spider-Man No Way Home, they used really good nostalgia bait to pull you in, and it was worth it. But with all these other shows, so like She-Hulk Attorney at Law, using that nostalgia chump bait to reel you in, it was just up to bait and switch and to make a mockery of one of the best street heroes in the Marvel comics. So I don't think that this is going to be good. I think it's going to be a disaster. And you can say, Jacob, wait till it comes out. No, I don't owe them the benefit of the doubt. You don't owe them the benefit of the doubt. You don't have to take their word for it. If you want to wait and see and get excited for it, please do. I'm not trying to throw a wet blanket of it. I'm just saying, me personally, I am not excited for this because I don't think Disney Plus has what it takes to make Daredevil the way he should be in a television series. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up, that you'll leave me a comment and tell me what you think, that you'll share it out with your friends, and of course, consider subscribing to Studio Jake. I cover all kinds of nerd and pop culture topics, including film, television, anime, comic books, and so much more. I hope that you'll also head over to my main website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where I have even more news, views, and commentary. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, head over to my locals page. That's studiojakemedia.locals.com. It's the best way to support me. I'm trying to build a little community there. I have exclusive reviews and articles, so definitely head over there and check it out. And I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.